Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with an update to Mathmech. I'll start by showing you the new one-card combo with Circular that I've developed, and then I'll show you some gameplay. We're going to start by activating the effect of Mathmech Circular, sending Sigma from our deck to the graveyard, and then specialing Circular from our hand. We can then, of course, special summon Sigma from our graveyard. A lot of these first steps are going to be the same as our previous lines, but I'll show you where they diverge here. So, Circular effect on Sigma Summon will allow us to search the trap card, Mathmech Superfactorial. After that, we are going to overlay into the Prime Mathmech Alimbertion, which upon Xyz Summon can detach both of its materials, and then we can add a Mathmech card from our deck to our hand. So we're going to detach both of these. Sigma goes to the graveyard instead of being banished because it was used as an Xyz material, and then we grab Mathmech Diameter. We're then going to use our normal summon on Mathmech Diameter, reviving either Circular or Sigma, doesn't really matter which one. Now, here you would normally make Splash Mage in the previous combo line, but I'll show you how to work in the new Ignister cards and greatly improve what our inboard looks like. We're going to make Cyberse Wicked using one of our two, either Circular or Diameter, plus Alimbertion. Just make sure you use Alimbertion, because we're going to make Link Decoder next, which needs a level 4 or lower. So there's Wicked, as I just mentioned. We're going to make Link Decoder next. And this triggers the effect of Cyberse Wicked to activate. We're going to want to banish exactly Alimbertion because we need to revive the other three off of Superfactorial. And now we can add the backup Ignister from our deck to our hand. Alright, at this point we can just go ahead and make transcode with Wicked and Link Decoder. And of course Link Decoder gets to revive off of its own effect. And the Transcode Talker, of course, also gets to revive the Wicked. Now, here we could totally just use all three of these to make Terahertz, and that would be pretty similar to what our boards previously looked like when we ended on just Circular. But here's how the backup Ignister improves that. Keep in mind, we haven't even used Splash Mage yet. We're going to special summon backup Ignister off of its own effect, and then use its effect in order to add Wizard Ignister from deck to hand, discarding any other card. Fun fact, if you discard Defensor, you can revive it off the Wizard, but let's just assume we discarded a random non-engine card, right? At this point, you would then want to go into Terahertz with Transcode as 3, backup Ignister, and Link Decoder. Make sure that you're leaving the Wicked here. Alright, now we can use our Wizard Ignister, because now, again ignoring Defensor, now we have a Dark Cyberse monster in the graveyard. So, Wizard Ignister revives the backup Ignister and also summons itself. Now here for Terahertz, we actually don't want to send D-Save Worm. I want to send Dotscaper, because we're going to end up needing this extra body in order to fully combo out here. But once we summon that, we're going to make Decode Talker Heat Soul. We can make that with Wicked plus the Dotscaper because they're two different attributes. Let's just go for the Heat Soul here. We can activate Heat Soul's effect in order to draw a card. And then finally, we're going to make the Allied Code Talker Ignister using Heat Soul, and then our two Ignister monsters. This will trigger the Allied Code Talker effect. Remember that we can't summon for the rest of the turn, but we're not really going to need to. I'm going to put Transcode over here, and I'm going to put Heat Soul over here. The reason that I specifically wanted to put Transcode over here is because now these two are co-linked, and now this is untargetable. Set your Superfactorial, and there we have it. So, that is the new one-card combo for Circular. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not using certain pieces of the new Ignister support, such as the new spell card that searches, as well as the Secret Monster that can search AI, spell, and trap cards. The reason I'm not playing those is actually two reasons. First of all, in the extra deck, if I should go over here to check decks, in the extra deck, I really don't feel I have the space for the Synchro Monster. As you can see, I'm not even playing a second target for the Terahertz, which I don't think is super needed, especially because we're going to be sending Dotscaper in the turn 1 combo, but I just value Link Spider more highly, because being able to play through Nibiru with this deck is very important. And because our combo line doesn't really make much use of Splash Mage, then if we get Nibiru'd, it's very easy to go Link Spider plus Extender into Splash Mage and still be able to make plays. The other reason that I'm not using the new AI searching spell card is because I think Small World is just better, and I don't really think I have room for both. But Small World is a lot more flexible. It can search Ash Blossom if you don't open it going first and want to counter to Maxi. It can search other hand traps like Lancia if you don't have any other use for it. It can search extenders if you open, your starters. So I really just much more value the versatility of Small World. But there you go. That's what Circular by itself gets you. And now we're going to go into some replays so I can really show off the power of this deck. Alright, so these are going to be games from the latest Duelist Cup. As such, I can't check my opponent's decks going into them. But we're going to start with a going second game here. So I'll have in post, I should have, on screen what deck I'm going up against if we do end up, finding out what it is. But sometimes you just don't get to see enough of your opponent's deck here. Okay, so this one's going to be branded. Going second here, we've got the Fuelos and the Imperm, which is always nice to have these. Mathmech does still have room for quite a bit of hand traps, but it's funny how back in the day, Mathmech was kind of known for having the most room for hand traps, and, well, nowadays, not quite as much. Argument to use Imperm against the Springen's kit there, but I figured I would simply use it on whatever branded fusion summoned. That way I could cycle my Fuelos, and I didn't want to end up in a situation where, they just had branded fusion in hand anyway, but looks like they're going to make Lubellion the Searing Dragon. It's a great Imperm target because it requires a discard, so they're not going to have access to that Book of Eclipse going into my turn. Very, very good for me. Going to throw out this Imperm against the Lubellion here, and let's see what else they're able to do here. Finding an Alibur off of the Despian Tragedy. And looks like they're going to pass after that. Now, Cartesia does get to add itself back to hand, so we know 2 of the 3 cards in hand are going to be Alibur plus Cartesia, with the third one being an unknown. Not too concerned about it because I do have the call by here. We're going to lead with Circular Effect, even though I have the Signet Mining in hand. Sure enough, there is the Max C there, but yeah, leading with Circular here, just see what, if any, response they have, and we were able to find a satisfactory one in the Maxi. Well, satisfactory because we can call by it. So there's our first game going second. Just a brief exchange here. Let me see if I can find one that's a little more robust in terms of like the board I build out. And to find a game like that, I think we're going to need a going first game. So that's what this next duel is going to be here. Yeah, let's just see what we've got here. All right, so yeah, we're going first this time. Interesting opening hand. I actually kind of debated Small Worlding for an Ash Blossom here, but decided just to go for a Circular anyway and play on easy mode. I think if I was like in a tournament in a very serious competitive setting, I probably would have made this, tried to make the safer play, or at least thought about it a little bit more, and finding an Ash Blossom to protect against Max C. Although, to be fair, in that kind of a setting, I would also expect my opponent to be the kind of player who chains a Max C to a Small World, so I guess it's a bit of a moot point there. They did end up getting past priority, and it turns out it was for an Imperm here against the Alumbrosian, which I'm not concerned about at all. I don't have access to Diameter, but that's fine. I can definitely still fully set up my board, including the Super Factorial, to summon Diameter without actually needing to search it. Dotscaper gets to bring itself back into the Wicked Zone, so I can search for the backup without even having to use the Link Decoder, although I'm just going to make that anyway. And also, I already have Wizard at Ignister, but I think it's definitely still worth searching for the backup at Ignister here. Now we can go Wicked plus Link Decoder to make it a Transcode Talker. Link Decoder gets to revive itself. And Transcode gets to revive the Wicked. At this point, I'm going to throw out the backup at Ignister. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to add and then discard Firewall Defensor because I already have the Wizard at Ignister in my hand. Now, as I alluded to during the combo guide portion of the video, now I can use the Wizard at Ignister in order to revive Firewall Defensor and get even more bodies. There was Terahertz dumping the Diameter, by the way. That's why I was not really that concerned when it comes to, the Alumbrosian getting negated there. You can always use the Terahertz to dump Diameter if you really need to, but yeah, the Firewall Defensor revives, or rather summons the Guardian from deck, and it makes Splash Mage, revive, and then summon Heat Soul. Sometimes you do end up in this sort of situation like this where you kind of need to go into Splash Mage to be able to make Heat Soul if everything else is dark. Although, to be fair, I did have Dotscaper plus, Wicked here as well. But now that I have the extra body thanks to Splash Mage, I can throw Lingrivo. And to be honest, I think if I made Splash Mage in the regular one card line, I could do this as well, like add a Lingaribo to my end board. You know, with Maliss running around, it's not a bad idea to have a Trap Negate going into your opponent's turn, but it also does use the Splash Mage, which you could save for later, which would be important in a grindy game. So pros and cons, pros and cons. Gonna set Super Factorial as well as Equation as a sort of bluff. Even top decking the Maxi, which my opponent was getting past priority, so I felt fine shotgunning Maxi here. Plus, I had my board already built out here. Oh, this is going to be against Blue Eyes. That's right, Primite Blue Eyes. Definitely should not have Ash Blossom the Lordly Load here. Huge misplay on my part. I just was not paying attention. And of course, right after I ashed this, I was like, oh yeah, they already normal summoned Ether Barrel. Duh. So would have been more ideal to use the Ash Blossom here against the Spirit with Eyes of Blue, but I'll use the Allied Code Talker instead. That's fine. I'm not worried about it. They've got a Droll for my Maxi, but that also means they can't search off of, like, wishes, so I'm really not that concerned about that. Banishing Spirit means that it also won't get to revive a Blue Eyes later as well. Speaking of Blue Eyes, they're going to use Lord Lode's effect to summon one here. I'm totally fine with that. I really don't feel the need to negate that Lord Lode F with like D-Save Worm, because I can just use D-Save Worm against the Drill Beam, which I'm actually going to do right here. And that should just about do it here. Yeah, there we go. If you're wondering how I was going to OTK there, not only could I have just gone for access code, but also could have used Wizard at Ignister's effect to change the battle position of the 2500 attack monster, which the 10,500 attack Terahertz could have then run into. So, yay. Alright, next game. Let's go for it. Another going second duel here, so we'll have to see what this one is going to be up against. Alright, let's see how well we open as far as the hand trap situation. Yeah, I'd say double Fuelos is pretty good. Fuelos is really nice in this deck because not only is it obviously a great hand trap, but it can be used to help make Almbertian in the right situation. And it can also be used as a small world target. It's a very good one. So, yeah, double Fuelos as soon as the second Maliss monster hits the board. Don't want them linking into Lizardos or Splash Mage or something, you know, before I have an opportunity to get the draws here. Of course, I won't get draws off of something like a March Hare or whatever they summon from Banish, but double Fuelos means that they'll give me double draws for every extra deck summon they do. So, they are able to access all of their main deck monsters without touching their extra deck, though, which is a little bit scary for me here. Why I'm having to set the TB11. Normal summon Dotscaper. Dotscaper a little bit odd, I think, in Maliss. I don't think it's the most optimal card to be playing, but they are going to give me 2 draws to summon out a Heartscriptor. But unfortunately for them, I don't think they have anything banished. They don't have anything banished, which means the Heartscriptor actually does not get its effect to banish one of my cards. I think even if that were the case, though, I don't know. It's not like the one Heartscriptor could stop me here. Now, they could have had this March Hare, but they added it back off its own effect, which I think if they were going to end on Heartscriptor, they should have kept that in the banish. But if they had used Heartscriptor to banish, I mean, look at my hand. I don't think I need to explain why the one banish didn't really matter here. Yeah, we have gas for days. We have gas for days here. Even if we get Nib, we can still go Link Spider into Parallel Exceed and still full combo. It's one of the reasons, too, why, I think I touched on this earlier, but it's one of the reasons why I don't like, or I like kind of not using Splash Mage all the time as part of the main turn 1 combo. Because again, at any moment you can get nibbed, but then you can go Link Spider, and as long as you have at least one Extender in hand, not a big ask at all for Mathmech, you're then able to go into Splash Mage and then fully combo still. But yeah, just going all out here. Board building. Now, the funny thing is, I can actually continue to board build under this Lingaribo further than you may think here. I'm going to keep the Lingaribo up because I'm not sure what the last face down is. We already saw the TB11, which of course I don't really feel the need to negate. I'm thinking the other face down is probably MTP, and they're trying to get the Banish, and that's why they wanted to end on Heartscriptor. That's why they haven't surrendered, and that's why I'm keeping my Lingaribo up here. But can make the access code under Lingaribo. And then we can use access code's arrow to actually make even more stuff from there. But I'm going to use access code to pop the heart scripter. That way, if it is MTP, the banish isn't live anymore. And if they have another way to banish a card, now the heart scripter banish is no longer live anymore. But yeah, we can just make link decoder and then summon transcode talker with 3 materials. I don't even need to summon transcode talker here to revive though, because I get both the firewall guardian and the link decoder, and then yeah, I can just make terahertz next to access code talker, still under Lingeribo, by the way, still under Lingeribo. Just keeping that last face down card in check. We do have one more duel to finish out with, so let's go into that last one here. All right, ending out on one last going first game here. And our hand is looking really good. We got the circular with the backup for, well, backup, and the cyanide binding on top of that. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's like I not only said in this video, but like you've probably experienced if you've played against Mathmech before. It just always has another extender. It's one of the reasons why I like this deck so much. It plays very well into hand traps. This deck does catch strays from Droll, which is really popular right now. Lancia doesn't really affect it that much, so I'm not really worried about that, but the Droll and Lockbirds are definitely not ideal. Nibiru usage is at an all-time low, which Nib does kind of hurt this deck. Oh, I suppose the Lancia does hurt the Wicked here, but, I mean, the Wicked is not at all mandatory. I didn't even need to summon Wicked in this line, because I already have backup at Ignister in hand, nor did I need to use the call by. My mentality was that, you know, oh, if I don't use call by against Lancia, I can't use call by for the rest of the turn anyway, and I might as well do a little bit of deck thinning. But I really should have just set call by for my opponent's turn. I think that would have been a much better play here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I did not need the extra backup search at all. I guess again, my justification in my head was deck thinning, but yeah, when I was first kind of like refining the combo line I've been doing, I used Splash Mage a lot more. It wasn't until the later games that I realized that you don't even really need Splash Mage to do the turn 1 line that I showed you, but yeah, here's the Dotscaper. Then we're going to turn these two into Heat Soul. Actually, did I use Splash Mage here? I don't think I did. Did I? Yeah, I didn't use Splash Mage here. Oh, that's right. So this game, you're probably wondering why I ended without summoning the Wizard at Ignister. That's because my opponent was, like, holding up priority throughout the rest of my turn here, and I thought it was a Nibiru. So my mindset was that I'll go to end of main, see if they nib. If they do, I can go Link Spider, special summon Wizard at Ignister, keep playing from there. But they never did nib, so I'm fine ending on Terahertz Heat Soul. I mean, I could have ended on a better board, sure, but this is still what you would previously end on for Mathmech. So, it looks like we're going to be playing against Maliss yet again here. I'm going to throw out a Maxi against their Dormouse, and yeah, Terahertz did not get to dump the D-Save Worm there, so I was a little worried about Call By, but then I actually just peeled Lancia. So Lancia, not only great against Maliss in general, but Call By, which is, in a lot of ways, Mathmech's worst enemy with the Super Factorial. The funny thing here is, though, that I totally forgot that I called by to theirs Lancia, and so did they. And they surrendered before they could even see that the Lancia didn't resolve there. So that was actually really funny, and mostly why I left that last game in. But anyway, let's talk about the build a little bit here. So I kind of inadvertently showed it off earlier in the video, but here is the full build for Mathmech. As mentioned before, I'm not on the new AI search spell. Where is it? Here we go. iConnect. Nor am I playing Firewall Saber Dragon. And yeah, like I said before during the combo guide section, I'm not playing these because I really just don't feel they're super necessary. I will say one thing that is good about them is that they do make it so that if you open backup at Ignister plus nothing else, you can go into Firewall Saber, link that off to search AI Connect, and then you can use that to search Mathmech Circular. And there is merit to that, but as I mentioned before, I just think that Small World is better. I think Small World is a lot more flexible. Being able to search hand traps, I think, is very important. And more than that, I also just don't want to use the extra deck slot for Firewall Saber Dragon, because having Link Spider against the Nibiru, I think is quite important, especially if you've got a hand that has something like backup and or Wizard in it, right? But yeah, I really do think that it's cool that Circular is improved as a one-card combo line off of the new Ignister support. Splash Mage is actually kind of optional in your combo line, which is wild to think about, but the backup just really does give you that many bodies. So I think the biggest con of this deck right now is the fact that Droll and Lockbird is so prevalent in the current meta, and it is very, very good against Mathmech. Otherwise, though, this other deck's big weakness, Nibiru, really isn't being played nearly as much, so you do have that going for you. I really should be playing a Droll and Lockbird in this deck, I think ideally as a cross-out designator target, but as you can see, I'm already above 40 cards to fit the new Ignister support in, so it's a little difficult to find room. Maybe I could go down to just 2 Fuelos, but I also really like Fuelos because it is level 4, so yeah, I think that Mathmech is still quite good, although I would still call it a rogue deck. It's still very good in this current format, so definitely don't sleep on it. I like it quite a bit, but I think that's going to just about do it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Super appreciate the support. I really like making these deck primers, so I really appreciate that you're watching them. But that is going to do it for now. Let us move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.